What's up, TPO community? This is Caleb Andes with the Process Outdoors. We have a special guest with us today, Matt Kingsley. He's a longtime TPO follower and an avid deer hunter. Some would even call him a whitetail addict. Well known for his aggressive tactics in the whitetail woods, and has actually produced 5 bucks over the past 2 years. So stick with us. We're going to walk through some doe harvest information and show you a clip from his most recent kill. So the question becomes, why harvest mama? Why harvest does? We've actually written a good blog post in the past last year on some of the benefits to shooting does on your property. I personally grew up not shooting does and learned real quick a few great things with it, right? So it's great practice for getting ready for those bucks and great meat for the family, but also some other importances are buck to doe ratios on your property and keeping those bucks close on your property by not having too many does on the property, as well as ensuring that you're going to end up having great chase action during the rut and those bucks don't just have the pick of the litter, right? And also in this story, so this interview with Matt, is we kind of have a twist on reason to harvest a doe. Matt hunts in city here in our area, and they have to actually harvest 3 does one year to get or earn a buck tag the next year. So there's a lot of added incentive there to end up harvesting those does. And I think this was doe number 1 for you.
Doe number 1, she's down.
So ends up begging the question, right, Matt? With all this pressure of getting the 3 does on the ground, how'd you end up getting one down in late September before October 1st even kicks in? What were some of the strategies, tactics you used?
Well, first, you've got to look at the weather. We had a major cold front move through. I was able to get out in the morning, and stealth using terrain got me in between food and bedding for the deer. So they just came on the right trail for me this time. But the weather is the main thing because everybody's hunting in the city. There's people everywhere, and the deer are going to get up. The weather is going to dictate that, and without the weather, you might as well just not hunt. I'm not going to hunt if there's not a cold front. I'm just not going to waste the time. There's enough stuff to do here around town, your housework, all that stuff. But so once you find the deer, then it's all about the wind. I already mentioned that I don't hunt until cold fronts come in. Well, I'm going to wait for that cold front. We just had a good cold front pass through with the storm. Well, in the morning, I looked at my map. I saw what the wind's going to do, and then I'll draw it out on the map. I'll put wind hashes on every single piece of property, and then I'll look at what is huntable, where I think the deer are going to be coming from in the morning and where their beds are, and the wind is going to dictate purely what I do. I have pre-hung stands in some spots, and if I can hunt those, I will. Obviously that's the easiest. Otherwise I'm going to do a hang and hunt, and I'm going to get in early. I'm going to set it up in the dark. My headlamp is going to be on green, and I'm going to go from there and wait for the deer to show up. I've talked about the 2 aspects that dictate when I hunt, the wind and cold fronts. Without those 2 things, I just rely on hunting pressure, not just my pressure that I put on an area, but the pressure that other people are putting. There's myself and my dad that hunt the property we hunt, and then we have 2 neighbors to the east and then a neighbor to the south. And without them and what they do, I don't think our property would be as good, because I don't think they hunted on the right winds. So I try to go in there on the winds that are bad for them blowing into the timber and use that to push the deer towards us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all the insight, Matt. It sounds like you had a pretty successful hunt by sticking to your 3 big tactics: hunting the wind, cold fronts, and using the neighbor's hunting pressure to your advantage. You're definitely kind of in a different scenario than a lot of our viewers here with some of the public hunting you do, but given past experience and what we've seen so far this season, definitely look forward to seeing what else you can do the rest of the year, and look forward to seeing some more of your footage.
Yeah, hopefully there's a lot more to come.
Well, you guys heard it from Matt himself. A couple quick tactics that he uses to be successful in the deer woods. Since the time of that interview, I was actually fortunate enough to be filming him in the stand where he ended up harvesting his 2nd doe. So take a look at some of the footage from the harvest of his 2nd doe. It was definitely an exciting evening.
Oh, not done yet.
Yeah, there's bubbles in it for sure.
It's all over.
It's definitely long.
He's right here. Blammo. Dick staked her. So, I mean, that's ribcage still.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's a perfect shot, man.
Well, I guess I can clean it right here. It's just so thick. Look, she just bedded down right there.
Shot.
Yep. I mean, not anymore, I guess.
Back in the old days when people were tough.
Watch the poopy.
I know nothing.
It's today.